Are you wondering what your next step is in spiritual growth? Or maybe what your guides are trying to tell you? I've read for clients who've wanted clarity around these kinds of questions so they knew what to focus on next. By the way, I'm Karen, and today I have a pick a card reading for you to give you clarity on one or more of your spiritual growth questions. So let's get into it. And here we have our three piles. Pile 1, Pile 2, Pile 3. Pile 1 has a rose quartz bracelet. Pile 2 has an obsidian bracelet with a butterfly charm. And Pile 3 has an angel or a quartz bracelet with some angel wings. So you want to tune into your question and which one of these will answer your question. And I will put links to each of the timestamps for the readings for the three piles in the description below. So pick the pile that you think will answer your question, and I'll see you there. Okay guys, welcome to the reading for Pile 1 with this rose quartz bracelet. So we have our significator, and this is the energy of this reading. And for this we have the Ten of Cups. And it's all about happiness, family, having a really good life. So this is the energy that's important around your spiritual growth question. Maybe it's what's driving you or what's supporting you. I don't know, because you're all going to be slightly different. But it's related to your question in some way and is therefore the energy, along with this rose quartz, that is driving the reading. That's, sort of the reading is based off of this energy. So we're just going to put this here and get into the reading. So the first part of it is, what does your question about spiritual growth mean for you? And for this, we have the Ten of Swords reversed. And what that means for me is that the Ten of Swords reversed means that you're looking for this whole new start, this sort of new dawn of the whole thing. You want something new, at least internally. You're fed up of feeling small, thinking that you're not worthy, not deserving, or you're letting others walk all over you, and you've finally had it, and you're ready to shift, and you're ready to get this new beginning, to stop getting stabbed in the back, basically, by mostly yourself, for not trusting yourself, or for second guessing yourself, or for whatever it is. You're fed up and you want a new start internally, at least. So then the question becomes, what's your higher self telling you to get over this? What do you need to work on to answer your question? And for this, we have the Chariot reversed. And what this says is, this is around taking responsibility for an ownership of your life and what happens in it. Like kind of self-leadership, inner authority, standing in your own power kind of thing. It's putting yourself in charge of what you want to happen in your life. No one else, just you. And the moment you can stand up and confidently declare what you choose that you want to have happen, that's the moment you energetically align with whatever this thing is, and everything clicks into place. It's like the first step in manifestation, if you would. And to have you choose what you want is what you need to kind of like do next. Because if you don't do that and you just sort of rely on whatever's coming in, well, then whatever you get is good enough, because, well, you didn't say what you wanted. So someone else or something else can choose for you, like circumstances. And that's what's been happening, because you haven't sat down and said, no, I'm the one in the driver's seat of my life. This is what I want to happen. So this is the behavior your higher self wants you to stop doing. It wants you to start saying that you are the one in control. And as you grow in consciousness, you need to take more responsibility for what you experience in your life, because with this higher vibration, you become faster at manifesting. And you really want it to be manifesting what you want, not what someone else wants for you. If this is resonating, drop a like and subscribe and help this channel grow. Essentially, though, you need to be the one in the driving seat, and this is what your guides are wanting to tell you with this energy. And whatever your question is you're the one that needs to stand up and say, I choose this. This is what's going to happen in my life. Not somebody else, or not circumstances, or not something else. Me, no one else. So how do you do that? And for this, we have the Eight of Wands reversed. And what that says is the first step to doing this is to start looking through all your thoughts, emotions, behaviors, and see, what doesn't align with your question and what you want, and being the one in charge of your life. Because if you don't have what you want yet, then something isn't aligning. It's that simple. And this is just a case of now working out what that something is so that you can change it. Because you get what your frequency is and what your energy is. That is what is in your life. So if you're not getting what you want, something ain't aligning with it. So it's time to work out what it is that's not aligning. And how do you go about doing that? The details of this. And for this, we have the Hangman reversed. So what this is saying is the steps you need to take are, you need to go through everything that comes to mind that is keeping you from feeling like you have to give your power away to someone else. So do you think you're less worthy than someone else? Do you think someone knows more about what you need than you do? Do you trust yourself? Do you trust your intuition and the guidance that comes through? And if not, why not? What comes up when you think that? Ask yourself these questions like, what is it around this that is stopping me from being my own inner authority? And ask yourself questions, the same questions around whatever it is your question is that brought you to pick pile one. What is it around that is stopping you being the one in charge, you choosing, you sort of like getting this new start and so on? What beliefs have you got around that? Find that out and change that. And then you will start to become more in charge of your life, and you will start to get this new beginning, and you will change the results because you've changed your energy. So what are the obstacles and blockages that are stopping you from doing this? And for this, we have the Five of Pentacles reversed. And this is showing it's partly to do with feeling alone, not fitting in, feeling different, and because of that being, sort of unworthy of getting what you want. You've given your power away already. Maybe you did it in childhood when, you got criticized, so you did what the other person wanted and found that they loved you more because, well, you did what they wanted. So that was a good path to get love. And as an adult, that's obviously not the way forward, but you didn't know that as a child. So you've got this sort of sense of being an outcast around it, and that's what this block is. And if this is sort of around feeling alone and you're wondering why, then I suggest you watch my other video on why spiritual growth feels so lonely. I will put a link below in the comments, in the description. And if that is what you're feeling, I suggest you watch that next, because this will help. But this block that is stopping you from being the one in charge because you've put yourself on the outside. You have allowed somebody else to come in and take that driver's seat and put yourself on the outside. So you've got to find out why you've done that. And it's likely somewhere way back in your childhood, probably a decision you made at the time to protect yourself, to get what you needed, like love or protection or whatever it was. And that's where you need to look, because that will likely tell you why that you have got this block, why you have this belief, and finding out the circumstances around what it was when you created this belief, like, your mum criticizing you for, having a crazy plan to do, or dressing, in some manic outfit, and it's like, no, that doesn't match, don't wear that, you'll look silly. And you wanted to make her happy, so you relented and you gave in, and you learned that the way to the other person being happy was to, put yourself outside of that driver's seat. And when you realize that as an adult, it's like, yeah, I don't want that. Want nothing to do with that. And that's when the whole thing will collapse. So it's not an impossible thing to do, but this is where it's coming from. So the question is, what's going through your mind right now that I'm telling you all this, and, this is what your guides want you to do and so on. What's going through your mind about it? And for this, we have the 8 of Swords. And to me, that says you're either thinking that you don't think this is possible to change, or you just don't know how to do it. It's too big of a thing. It's been your whole life, as far as you're concerned, and it's just too big. Yes, you'd like to change it, but yeah, just not going to happen. It's not possible. Well, it's actually very easy to get rid of a belief that's blocking you from what you want. Like I said, all you have to do is work out why you came up with it. It will collapse itself if you get to that root of it. And then you can move on for no, that just doesn't make sense any longer. That's not the way the world works. And your brain will not allow yourself to believe something that doesn't make sense. Right now, the only way you believe something is it makes sense in whatever way possible at the moment to you, and it gives you something, like it gives you some kind of security of feeling safe. So you get to the bottom of that, and that belief will naturally fall away when you realize how ridiculous that what you're getting out of it is. So the next thing is, what will change? Because when we go through spiritual growth, we change, and that we have people around us. We're human. We, have friends, family, co-workers, whatever it is. We have people around us, and they will respond differently when we change. So how will the people around you respond differently to, what you were before this change? And for this, I have Temperance. And this is looking really good. Those people are going to be really good with this change. They're going to be happy that you're basically stepping up in your life, and they'll see you as more well-rounded, more whole, if you will, more of you, and more in control of your life. And that's going to be good for them too, because you're now not coming to them with your sort of woes of like, oh, am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? And so on, because they can see that you've sort of like stepped up and like, yeah, this is my life. I'm the only one who should be in charge, not somebody else. I'm going forwards with this. And they're going to be super pleased with this, that you've kind of, seen this path forward, and you can see kind of like, yeah, that's where I need to get to. That's the, the what I need to have in my life to have this new dawn, if you like. So what's this difference going to mean in your life? And for this, we have the Five of Cups. So if you do this change, you step into, the driver's seat of your life, and you let go of the beliefs that are holding you back, and you go through it all and you work it out, and everyone around you is happy. What's your life going to be like? What's it going to feel like? What difference will it make in your life? And what I'm seeing here is initially it's going to feel like you have the weight of the world on your shoulders. And I remember feeling this too when I went through this. And you wake up the next day and realize that everything in your life is now your responsibility, no one else's. There's no possibility of blaming it on circumstances anymore or someone else. Basically, you reach the point where, the buck stops here. It's you or nothing. If something isn't what you wanted, it's 100% down to you to solve and change. And that can really feel like, the weight of the world is just sitting on your shoulders. But I can assure you it gets less and less every single day until that feeling just becomes the norm. And the upside is you're the one who chooses what happens. So it's actually really good. And it's only for this short time that, you're feeling this pressure on it. And after that, you're the one in the driving seat, which is incredibly, incredibly empowering. So while it might look a little overwhelming at first, it will integrate this quite rapidly into your life. If your experience is anything like mine, which I'm sure it will be, it's initially like, what have I done? And then it's easier and easier and easier and more empowering, and you grow so fast from it. It is the most liberating feeling ever when you finally do integrate this initial overwhelm. So now the question becomes, we have the, your yes/no answer for your question, and it's also coupled with, will you do this? Given all of this information, will you step up, sort through it all, kick out this belief, get the support of everyone around you, get this new dawn, and get through this phase of feeling like the weight of the world's on your shoulders? And for this, we have the Wheel of Fortune. So the answer to your yes/no question is yes. And the details are that, yes, you will do this, and you will do this. And the outcome for this is that it's going to be a really, really good thing in your life. And the growth in consciousness you get from this will raise your vibration. And it's going to send you into a swing of upswing, sort of a good phase, because we all know, life is ups and downs. This is going to send you into an up phase in your life with this, this growth pattern. So it's a really, really good thing. If this resonated, please drop a like, subscribe, and comment below. I will also drop the link to the video for Why You Feel Lonely with Spiritual Growth in the description just down below. And if you'd like a reading for a more personalized approach to this, to find out exactly what beliefs that you need to let go, then again, there is a link in the description that you can click to book a reading with me. I'm Karen from Soul Driven Tarot, and I'll see you in the next video. Welcome to the reading for pile 2. And for this, we have the obsidian bracelet. And obsidian is more or less used for protection. So this reading has a lot to do with protection. We also have the significator, and for this we have strength reversed. And what this means is it's about a lack of inner strength, or not taking action for fear of being wrong, feeling out of control, being overwhelmed by things outside of you, which is frankly probably why you're drawn to the gem that offers protection and that energy. So I have based the reading for this pile off of the energy of this obsidian and the Strength reversed card. So we'll just put those to the side and let's get started. For the first card, we have the Queen of Swords. And this is all about what it means for you. And for that, with the Queen of Swords, what I'm getting is that you're taking control. You've had enough of being run around by external things and your fears, your worries, and you just want it over with. The protection you've been asking for has helped, but you're wanting to stand more now on your own 2 feet and stop the feeling like you have to ask for protection. It's great when it happens. There's nothing against it happening, but you'd rather not feel like you need to have it. So this is a really good starting place for a spiritual growth path. The fact that you know that you want to change and you know what it is that you want to change. So the next card, we have the 7 of Wands reversed. And this says that the thing that your higher self is telling you to do, telling you to work on, is actually to stop needing to defend yourself against things, which ties in incredibly well with your desire to stop feeling like you need protection. So clearly you are incredibly in tune with what your next step is, and you're following your intuition, which is awesome, and what your higher self is telling you to do. So that's a really, really powerful combination here of where you're at and where this is going. If this is resonating, please drop a like and subscribe below. Really help the channel grow. The third card we have the Hangman reversed. And what this asks is, so how do you do this stopping the need for protection, and whatever your question is. So for the first step, we need to stop seeing spiritual things as disconnected from each other. We're all one. Everything you see outside of you is actually a reflection of something going on inside of you. So if you feel like you're being invaded or attacked spiritually, it's actually you doing that to some aspect of yourself. If you're seeing things like other beings that you associate with nasty stuff, you'll actually find if you look deeper, it's simply just your fears and the collective's fears that have crystallized enough to take a form and a shape that you can actually see, for those of you who see energy. And once you clear that out of yourself, that fear, you'll no longer encounter those beings and those things that you currently feel like you need this protection from and you're fed up of needing protection from. So this is what you need to do. And how you do it. So the detailed steps of how you do this, we have the 6 of Cups. And for this, you need to send love to all the aspects of you that need it. That's what's going to help clear up these fears. Ask your inner child what it's afraid of and address that. For an energetic solution, this is 100% pure intention. Just literally intend to download divine love into every cell of your being. And I'm going to do that now so that you can feel what it feels like. Can you feel that love just come flooding into every cell? And all I've done is intend to download divine love into everyone who's watching this, into their cells, who is willing to accept that energy. And you can feel it just coming in, and that will help you with these fears that you need to like address and look into getting rid of. So if you're sensitive to energy, you will feel that when you do it yourself. If you're not, don't worry. It's coming in just as fast, irrespective of whether you feel it. And this will help bring these fears up so that, they need resolving. Putting the love in is going to bring them up. So you will initially see more of this, but it means that you now know what to address. So you can now address them, and bringing this love in will also help heal those fears. And just release them and let it move through. And those are the steps you need to do to achieve what it is both you and your higher self want you to achieve. So what are the obstacles and blockages you have around this question? And for this we have death reversed. And what I'm getting for this is you're actually afraid of this change. This thing has been such a big part of your life up to now, so much so that you're unsure what would happen and what would actually, define you now if you managed to clear this and did this massive change. This is basically a big identity thing that needs addressing, because if you believe like you do currently, whether you consciously realize this or not, but currently you believe you are better off with the issue. And if so, it will stay, no matter how much you and your higher self want rid of it. So you're needing to, this needing to put up protection all the time, it's kind of become part of who you are. And you're going to want to watch another of my videos about this, who you are when everything that defines you is gone. And if I will put a link to that in the description below, and you're going to want to watch that next, because that will help you realign your identity as you move closer to your authentic self, because your authentic self doesn't need this protection, okay? It is purely these fears that you just need to clear out. So as you move to your authentic self, this need for this will go away. And the only thing holding you back is you're currently seeing it as part of your identity of having this issue. And I can relate to that. I was there, and you will move through this. So as I'm telling you all this, what's going through your mind about what I'm telling you? And for this, I have justice. And what I'm getting for that is that you think you need evidence before you'll try it. You've seen what happens when you don't put up protection. And now you're sitting there thinking, well, you just want me to think something and everything's going to change? No, I want evidence. And all I can say to that is, it's like asking your reflection in a mirror to smile before you're willing to smile. It's just not going to happen. You have to be the one to take that first step. And as I said, I've personally been through this issue, and I was trapped in this for decades before I worked out how to get out of it. You will too. The moment you are ready to, you will work it out and you will clear it. And if your higher self is wanting you to do this as the next step, which it is, and you're already wanting to do it consciously, that tells me then that you are more than ready, probably more ready than you realize, to actually do this. And it's a big identity change, but you're more than ready to do it, and you don't need this evidence. You just need to do it. And you need to take that leap of faith. Basically, it comes back to this strength card. You need to flip this strength card to give you the inner strength to actually do this and the courage to do it, and face whatever fears come up. And you clearly have the tools to do this, or your higher self wouldn't be saying do this. So you will be supported by your higher self, and you will get through this, and if you can just get the courage, you will have the inner support to do this as well. All you've got to do is get past your need for evidence that this works before you try it, basically. And be okay with the identity change that's coming. This is no longer what makes up you having to need this protection. So what will change? Well, let's look at other people and how they will respond to you when you make this change. We're going to assume that you're going to manage this. Because with all change, others are going to get involved. They are going to realize that you've changed, and they're going to make their response known to you. And for this, we have the Knight of Wands reversed. So what I'm getting from the Knight of Wands reversed is they're not overly going to be happy, supportive, or believe it, unfortunately. Maybe they've bought into the same thing. They think they need the protection, and you're the one, providing them with it every day. Or they associate these white bubbles, black gemstones, protection requests, and so on with you, and they rely on them from you as well. So whatever it is, they are sadly not going to be overly supportive about this. And so there's going to be some opposition to this change from the people who are around you, unfortunately, which is going to make it harder. They're probably going to want the evidence as well. And they're probably going to turn around and rub it in your face when initially it gets harder because you're pouring love in, so the fears come up more. And they're probably going to say, see, it doesn't work. This is just part of this phase, unfortunately. You will get through it, but yeah, you will have internal support and support from your higher self, but not so much from the people around you, sadly. So if you do this, what difference is it going to make in your life? And for this, we have the Ace of Swords reversed. And what this says for me is that if you do this, take this leap of faith and make this change, you will basically solve this issue and essentially kill the problem off. You'll, sort of stab it with a stick, stab it with a sword, and you'll never have to go through it again. You'll have the inner strength to know that your frequency and you are all the protection that you need against anything that you come up against. Because everything you experience is just an aspect of you. So realistically, you're just at the moment trying to protect yourself from some aspect of you that you're either unaware of or don't think it's part of you, so you're denying it. So when you do actually do this, it will solve a lot of problems for you, and it is totally going to change your life, just like it did for me. It frees up so much stress. It's unreal how much change that this can make in your life, but it does take a lot of courage to get through. So the question we ask ourselves, you have a question coming into this and a yes/no question, and we also want to know, will you manage this? Will you make this change that you want to make, that your higher self wants you to make, that is related to this lack of inner strength and this need for protection? And for this, we have the Hermit reversed. So the short answer is no to your question, and no to you will not manage this yet. This shows that you will do the looking inside, and you'll find, sort of some of the fears, you'll shine a light on them, help clear them. But I think this lack of support from others, coupled with your need for proof that maybe they sort of amplify, is going to prevent you from actually getting the outcome you want and the outcome to your question, unfortunately. However, what you have to remember, and this is vitally important, is The future is not set in stone. If you change one single thing, however small, it will change the outcome in some way. You may still have the same outcome, but it will change the outcome, and eventually you will find the right change that will change the outcome to what you want. And I'm sure you know that theory about, so the butterfly flaps its wings and a massive change happens on the other side of the world. And what I didn't know I was doing yesterday, but I attached this butterfly charm to this bracelet yesterday when I was planning out this video and what gemstones I wanted to use for each pile. So I think the message here for you is that if this is what you're going through and this is not what you want, which, a no is obviously not the answer you wanted, then you need to change one small thing and you will turn this around to get your yes. And that one small thing is probably in here, moving away from the people who are like putting doubt in your mind, or moving away from this need for proof and just giving it a go, having the courage, flip this around, have the courage to actually give this a go. If this resonated, please drop a like, a subscribe and comment. I offer personalized readings, and the booking link for that is below down here in the description. And there's also a link to that video, Who Are You When Everything That's Defined You Is Gone? So you can watch that next. I'm Karen from Soul Driven Tarot, and I'll see you in the next video. Welcome to the reading for pile 3. We have the Angel Aura Quartz with the angel wings, and what this gemstone is about is it's to do with divine connection, spiritual alignment and inner peace, basically. And as significator for this reading, we have the King of Cups reversed. And what that says is it's about emotional turmoil, feeling isolated, closed off, emotionally unavailable, which is probably why you're drawn to a stone that is all about connection and inner peace. So I have based this reading off the energy of this Angel Aura Quartz and the King of Cups reversed. The first card we have is, what does this question that you have, this spiritual growth question, mean to you? And for this we have Strength reversed. And what this says is you're not sure that you have the inner strength and courage to do this, to get this next growth stage or get a yes to whatever your question is. So there's a little anxiety around this, which is totally normal. And sometimes it can feel like our higher self is like pushing us further than we can cope with. However, that's not true. I'm just wanting to show you, it's just wanting to show you how strong you actually are on the inside and how much more you can handle than you realize. In other words, you're actually better than you think you are, which is something I used to hear a lot. So take that on board. You have the strength to do this, the inner strength and the confidence to do this. It is just about following these steps and you'll get there. Okay? So what does your higher self want you to do next, to work on as your next spiritual growth step? And for this, we have the Page of Wands reversed. And what this says is your higher self is telling you you need to work on communication with your guides, higher self, and creation. You have this ability. You just need to open the door wider to let more stuff come through, and you need to believe in yourself more and what you get. If this is resonating, please drop a like and subscribe below. It'll really help the channel grow, and I appreciate that. So how do you go about this opening this communication and having the courage and inner strength to do it? Well, for this, we have the King of Swords. And what this is saying is the first step is about clearing your mind. If you've got a lot of stuff going on, positive or negative, it doesn't matter, then there's no room in your mind for any other thing to come in. You can't hear anything else, especially not a voice that's actually quieter than what's like going on already. So you have to take control of your mind and work on getting it to calm down and go quiet so that you can hear this divine communication coming in, because it's always coming in. You've just got to work on that control to allow yourself to hear it. So what are the actual detailed steps you need to take to make this happen? And for this we have the Ace of Wands. And what this is saying is, this is just something you need to do and learn how to do and practice. It's as simple as that. So make this a daily practice. Sit down, close your eyes, imagine a candle in the distance and focus on it. Very, very quickly, like 1 second, 2 seconds, that candle will vanish into nothing and you'll be left staring at nothing, blackness, just blank completely. And this is when those thoughts usually creep back in. And your action is to acknowledge them and let them pass without engaging. Now, another technique for doing this, because there are plenty of techniques, and this is the one I personally use, is I create a bubble inside my head and let it expand out past my skull. And that pushes all the thoughts out and keeps them out. And just sitting there, you can then just, sort of sit there relaxed in that utter silence. It's wonderful. And if a thought pops up, you just bubble it back out again. And it just pushes it out and you can carry on and enjoy this silence. There are loads of different techniques for doing this. You can look more up if neither of those resonates with you. But what you need to do is work on clearing your mind and strengthening your mind so that you are the one in control of what thoughts are going on, so that you can empty it and listen to your guides. That's the important point here. The technique is neither here nor there. You just need to find what works for you, and you need to practice and do it. It's the practice that is important here, because that is what builds this strength. So what are the obstacles and blockages you have around this? And for this we have the Six of Cups. And what I'm seeing for this is there's actually two things. Firstly, you're putting others before yourself and basically people pleasing. And when you do this mental practice every day, you need to set aside time for you. And it is not okay to let somebody else come in and step over your me time. So you need to communicate your boundaries and stick to them. That is really important for this. This practice is what you need to do. So you need to put you first, not people please and put other people first. And I am saying this with a grain of salt. Obviously, if there's an emergency, that's a whole different case, okay? We're talking about an adult walking in, wanting to chat about something. We're not talking about, a kid running in bleeding or whatever it is. Take this with, sort of common sense, okay? Do not let anyone invade your me time unless it's an utter emergency. And make sure they know what an emergency is. So the other thing that I'm seeing here is that what keeps popping up in your mind and, sort of running around in your head is stuff from the past. And it's those thoughts that you need to sort through, that you still have emotional and mental attachments to. You need to resolve that so those thoughts don't keep popping up and asking to be addressed, because that is why they are running around in your head. You have some attachment to them, either emotional or mental. So clearing that will aid you with this and make this much, much easier. So that's what you need to do. They're the two blockages. So what's going through your mind? Now I'm telling you all of this. What's currently going on in your head? And are you thinking, well, it's even possible? And for this, we have the Four of Pentacles reversed. And what this says for me is you have a massive amount of determination to make this happen. You are committed and will not budge on this for anything. You can see the benefits and you want them, and you know why this is the next right step for you. You're willing to trust that your guides have it right, your higher self has it right, and you're going to do whatever it takes to get there. And all I can say is way to go. Great job, because this is going to stand you in really, really good stead. So the next card is, with all these changes, how are other people going to respond? Because with every change, people want to put their 2 cents in when they see that you've changed. It's just the way of the world. So for this, we have, the Five of Pentacles. And what this says to me is, unfortunately, through this, you are going to lose some friends and possibly family over this. They're going to see you differently and push you away. And this is just a natural part of spiritual growth. When you start to raise your frequency out of the range of the people that you've been hanging out with up to now, it can feel lonely. I get it. I've been there. You want to watch my other video, Why Spiritual Growth Feels So Lonely? I will put a link in the description below, and you'll want to watch that next, because it will help when you get to this point and you start losing these friends and family, and you'll start to think, oh my goodness, what have I done? This is the other video that you need to go through, because this will help you through that patch. It is okay. Every single person going through spiritual growth like this will go through this. It is totally normal. You are not crazy. There is nothing wrong with you. It is the way it works. You have to be with people who are the same vibration as you. And if they're not growing and you are, you're going to part ways. It's just the way energy works. So if you do make this change and you get your question answered, you get your yes, whatever your question is as well, and you do this spiritual growth that your higher self is wanting, what difference is this going to make in your life? And for this, we have the Knight of Wands. And what that tells me is it is significantly going to improve your connection to the divine, which is what your higher self wants you to do. It's going to improve your communication with your guides, and it's going to light such a massive passion in you to explore this side of things and see just how far you can take it. It's really going to ignite your fire for spiritual growth. So this is going to be a really big thing, and it's a really exciting thing, seeing someone at this stage that's wanting this and actually getting there, and has the determination to do it. So this is a super cool spread, and I am really happy for you with this. So now the question becomes, for the question you asked that you want a yes/no answer for, and will you manage this? Will you get this communication that your higher self wants you to have? Will you have the courage to do it? You have the determination. Will you have the courage? Will you do the daily practice? And for this, we have the Ten of Cups. So the short answer to your yes/no question is yes. And will you manage this is also yes. And it shows that everything here is going to work out the way you want. It's going to bring you a lot of happiness, that connection, that joy, that peace that you were wanting, that was attracting you to this gemstone in the first place. And it is going to bring all of this to you. If this resonated with you, please drop a like, subscribe, and comment below. I offer personalized readings as well, and the booking for that is also in the description below. Plus, there'll be a link to this video about why spiritual growth feels so lonely. So watch that next. I'm Karen from Soul Driven Tarot, and I'll see you in the next video.